Happy Sabbath! Welcome to Sabbath School.
We trust in you, Jesus. You're all that we need. Your power will pull us through. We're trusting in you. We're trusting in you. You give us hope and life that's forever. You make us bold and we stand together. Your power will pull us through. We're trusting in you. We're trusting in you. We're off on this journey. There's no looking back. With Jesus to lead us, we're on the right track. Oh, 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 oh. Wide open spaces for wide open eyes. We're looking ahead for the next big surprise. Oh, 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 oh. We trust in you, Jesus. You're all that we need. Your power will pull us through. We're trusting in you. We're trusting in you. You give us hope and life that's forever. You make us whole and we stand together. Your power will pull us through. We're trusting in you. We're trusting in you. We're off on this journey. There's no looking back. With Jesus to lead us, we're on the right track. Oh, 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 oh. Wide open spaces for wide open eyes. We're looking ahead for the next big surprise. Oh, 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 oh. We trust in you, Jesus. You're all that we need. Your power will pull us through. We're trusting in you. We're trusting in you. You give us hope and life that's forever. And we stand together. Your power will pull us through. We're trusting in you. Trusting in you. Your power will pull us through. We're trusting in you. Trusting in you. Trusting in you. We're trusting in you. We're trusting in you.
Good morning, everyone. Jairus was a very important man. He had a top job at the synagogue. Everyone knew him. He was probably wealthy. But one day, something sad happened. His little girl got sick. He was very worried. They did everything they could, gave her all the medicines he knew how, and still she got sicker and sicker. He had heard that Jesus was healing people. He just knew Jesus could heal his daughter. So he went out to find Jesus. He walked and he walked. He finally found Jesus at Levi Matthew's house, but there were all kinds of people there. The place was full. He had to work his way in through all the people. When he got to Jesus, he fell at Jesus' feet. He said, "Please, Jesus, come heal my daughter. I know that you can." Jesus knew that he wanted him to be able to come. So Jesus said, "I will come." And Jesus and Jairus started going. Well, before they got too far, someone came running up to Jesus, said, "Don't bother. The daughter has died. Don't come." Jesus kept on walking. When he got to Jairus' house, all the people were out screaming and crying and sobbing. You see, back then, you could have a job by going to someone's house and crying when they were sad. They got paid for making lots of noise. It was called wailing. And there were people there, so he sent them on his way. When he got in the house, he sent everyone on the way except Mama and Daddy and said, "Come, let's go see her." She was not alive. And yet Jesus took her hand and said, "Talitha," or little girl, get up. And she did. She started to breathe. She opened her eyes. She looked around. She was alive. Now, Jesus knew what she needed. And he said, Mama, go get her something to eat. And Mama did. Oh, there was so much happiness, so much joy. Jesus loves for you to have good health. He loves to be close to you. When you're not feeling well, talk to Jesus. Maybe this week you could think of someone who is not feeling well, and you could write them a card or draw them a picture. If you don't know anyone, I'll give you an address of someone to do that for. But if you look in the church newsletter, there are letters, are addresses, and you can write to them or draw them a picture and say, I'm thinking of you. I'll be praying for you. I care, just like Jesus cares for you. All right, have a great Sabbath. Bye.
Good morning. This week's lesson's memory verse is, we show that we are servants of God by our kindness. 2 Corinthians 6, verse 6. Think of a time someone in your family helped you without being asked. What did they do for you? Did their kindness surprise you? Our story this week reminds us of something important. We learn how to serve others by being kind at home. It was morning, and Jacob woke up to continue on his long journey to Haran. He had left his home because his brother was very angry with him. Jacob had tricked his father and had gotten a special blessing that should have gone to his brother. Because of this, his mom thought it was a good idea for him to go and stay with her brother Laban for a while. She also hoped that Jacob would find a wife there. The night before, while he had slept with a stone for his pillow, he had had a dream. He had dreamed that he had seen a ladder and angels going up and down on the ladder. Then God had spoken to him and had promised to be with him. Jacob worshipped God when he woke up and had promised that God would be his God. Now he was ready to continue on his journey. It was a long journey, about 450 miles altogether, and it would take about 3 weeks of walking. Finally, after many days and nights of traveling, Jacob neared the city of Haran. He hoped to find his mother's family there. His journey was almost over, and he was glad. On the outskirts of Haran, Jacob saw a well. It was about noon, and 3 flocks of sheep were gathered there. Why are these flocks at the well in the middle of the day, he wondered. This well was different from those near Jacob's home. He saw that a huge stone covered the well's opening. There were no troughs from which the sheep could drink. Jacob approached the well and spoke to the shepherds gathered there. My brothers, where are you from? He asked. We come from Haran, one shepherd replied. Do you know a man named Laban who lives there? Jacob questioned. Yes, we know him, the shepherds answered. Then Jacob asked, Is he well? Yes, he is, replied one of the shepherds. In fact, here comes his daughter Rachel with some of his sheep. She is a shepherd. The man pointed to a young woman coming toward them. Jacob looked and saw Rachel coming to the well. She was leading a flock of sheep, but was still some distance away. Jacob continued talking with the shepherds. Tell me, why don't you water your sheep and take them back to pasture? He asked. There is still a lot of daylight left. We can't, they replied. It's our custom to wait until all of the flocks are gathered. When all are here, we remove the big stone from the well. Then all the animals drink, and we cover the well again. While Jacob and the shepherds talked together, Rachel and her sheep arrived. Jacob went over to the well. He kindly rolled the heavy stone away from the opening. Then he led his uncle Laban's sheep to the water and cared for them. He spoke kindly to Rachel. I am Jacob, and I am one of your relatives. I've come a long way to meet your family. Your father's sister, Rebecca, is my mother. He was so glad to finally meet a relative that he began to cry. His long journey was over. He was with family again. Please wait right here, Rachel exclaimed. I want to let my father know that you are here. Then she turned quickly and ran toward home. An excited Rachel told her father about Jacob. Laban was amazed that Jacob had come so far. He hurried back to the well with her. How wonderful to meet you, Jacob, he exclaimed. He hugged his nephew and kissed him. "We're so glad you're here. Come, let's go home so we can visit." Laban led the way. Soon they reached Laban's home. There, Jacob told his uncle about the family he had left behind. He talked about his mother, Rebekah, and how she had sent Jacob to Laban. And Uncle Laban welcomed his nephew Jacob into his home. Soon, Jacob became a part of Laban's family. Jacob helped Rachel by removing the heavy stone from the well, and he helped her by watering the sheep. No one had asked him to help. He showed courtesy and kindness to Rachel. Can you help others without being asked? By being kind to your own family, you learn to serve others. What will you do to serve others this week?
Same power that rose Jesus from the grave, the same power that commands the dead to wake, lives in us, lives in us. The same power that moves mountains when He speaks, the same power that can calm a raging sea, lives in us, lives in us. He lives in us, He lives in us. We have hope that His promises are true in His strength. There is nothing we can't do, yes we know. There are greater things in store. We will not be overtaken, we will not be overcome. The same power that rose Jesus from the grave, the same power that commands the dead to wake, lives in us, lives in us. The same power that moves mountains when He speaks, the same power that can calm a raging sea, lives in us, lives in us. He lives in us, lives in us. Same power that rose Jesus from the grave, the same power that commands the dead to wake, lives in us, lives in us. Same power that moves mountains when He speaks, the same power that can calm a raging sea, lives in us, lives in us. He lives in us, lives in us. He lives in us, lives in us.
Thank you for joining us. See you all next week. Bye.